The Indiana Pacers, 47-35, sixth seed in the East, beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round in 6 games, beat the New York Knicks in the second round in 7 games, then got swept by Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Personally, I think they had no business getting that far. They beat two very hobbled teams, and both of those teams were injured going into the series, and then got even more injured during the series. And great for Rick Carlisle, who finally gets out of the first round for the first time since the Dallas Mavericks won a title in 2011. Like, it's been that long, but Indiana, like, it's great for them that they got that far. They have this like young nucleus that if you're a Pacers fan, you got to be excited between Halliburton and Nembhard and Neesmith, and they just traded for Pascal Siakam during the regular season last season, and Miles Turner. Like, there's a solid young nucleus, Obi Toppin as well, but it's also a bit overpaid of a roster. Like, Tyrese Halliburton got signed to this sort of big deal last season, and you kind of have to because he's borderline superstar, but he's also like your guy. Like, you traded from Sacramento for him, like he is your guy. Doesn't stay healthy. Like last season, he only missed 13 games and two in the playoffs, which doesn't sound like a lot, but he's missed it a lot more before this season, and he kind of rushed himself back this season to be eligible for postseason awards. Like, you can't win with him doing that. But other sort of money items to sort of address, I'm going to just list them out. TJ McConnell, 4 years, 45 million. Obi Toppin, 4 years, 58 million. Pascal Siakam, everyone knew that he was kind of coming to Indiana with the expectation that he was going to get his new contract. So 4 years, 189.5 million. And then Andrew Nembhard, 3 years, 59 million. That's a lot of money to be committing. So basically, Indiana is, I won't say stuck with this core going forward, but they're going to have to sort of uh, deal with this as the sort of core of the future, unless they really want to try and get even more expensive and trade for guys. Now, there's also on top of there's Miles Turner, there's Jarris Walker, there's pieces there. James Wiseman, who I'm not a big fan of. I think he kind of floundered, in Detroit after sort of becoming a bust in Golden State. So, if he plays well, great. If not, you still have Isaiah Jackson. But, there are pieces there. I just think they need a little bit more to really be a true title contender. Like, I just don't see them as a top four team in the East. Yeah, maybe they could sneak in, but I think it's very unlikely, especially with the way the East is. Like, it's not as deep as the West, but there's still pretty good teams at the top of the standings. I would view Indiana more in that 5 to 8 range, if I'm being honest. Like, Halliburton misses games, as I said. The defense is not good and needs to be fixed. Like, they were last in paint attempts allowed. Like, it's kind of nuts that you can sort of have a good team and have this such porous defense. They were, to be fair, first in paint points. Like, that's a good sign, but you need to clean up the defense if you want to go far. And Siakam hopefully helps that with the full season, the full training camp. But then on the flip side, there's sort of like Miles Turner, who's been there for a while and plays well, stretches the floor, very valuable. But he is 38th in rebounding among qualified centers. Like, you cannot win if you're not rebounding. Like, when your power forward out rebounds you like that, it's not a good look. Plus, they don't really have other good centers. I mentioned Wiseman. I'm not a big fan. They do have Isaiah Jackson, who's a solid center, but he's not a starting caliber center. So, like, if I'm Indy, I'm trying to upgrade at that position. Um, and I sort of look at the health question with Halliburton. Like, there are good guards there. Nemhard's a good guard. Neesmith's a good guard. Like, Halliburton, TJ McConnell. Like, there is that depth there. And they do have forwards. And if Jarris Walker plays and plays well, then who knows? But I think Indy needs like 1 or 2 more years to really be in that title contention window. Maybe two. I think two. And I'm going to put them in that sort of 5 to 8 range as far as the Eastern Conference. But if Halliburton stays healthy and Siakam continues to play well and the core develops around those two guys, maybe they get a third star, and then maybe next year they're a title contending team. Who knows?